All right, we are live and inspired. Aloha, everyone. Like I said before, we are live and inspired today. I am your host, Gregory Cobra, also known on the YouTubes as Handsome Cobra. Hold on, just give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully the sound won't be. Sorry about that. I had my speakers on, and usually when I have them on plus the mic at the same time, there's like a weird echo, or it doesn't. My voice doesn't come in too good, so over the microphone. So I apologize. I was listening to another video I did uh, a while back, so just making sure that the audio was good on it. But yeah, oh wow, I'm doing another My Thoughts video. I know, it's crazy. I had something on my mind, and as the title insinuates, it's being a champion of hope. And what is that? What exactly is that? Do I mean by being a champion of hope? Well, I want to delve into it a little bit and just see where we go on this fantastic voyage. And hopefully, you good people, kind people, will join me on it. This voyage of internal wisdom and external uh, venturing, I guess. But yeah, so I tried to come up with something really slick off the top of my head. I couldn't do it. Sorry. But hopefully, as we go on in the voyage, I'll become more sly with the verbiage. But yeah, so the reason why, just to start off, the reason why I guess I'm doing this video is because I've been doing a lot of thinking lately and just internalizing myself. And I was looking at some videos before, and some of the things you have to understand that some of the things I say, it's all a good jaunt. It's all about maybe I do it to get a rise out of people, or it's for show. Some of it's for show. Some of it's just kind of me. But we're humans. We're the human species. We're very complicated individuals, and I'm a very complicated individual as well. Complexed. So yeah, I will say this. I've said this on previous videos. After I came back from the military, I never knew really why I came back. I mean the MOS that I did, the things that I did in the military, I never understood. Uh, yeah, and I'm a veteran of OEF and OIF, and if you don't know what that is, that's Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. So, and they're both part of the Middle East. And so coming back, it was at first was very, I guess for me, I was in a very dark place when I came back. And and this isn't supposed to, and I'm not trying to start this on a downer or anything like that. So just bear with me. I'll get to the good stuff. So I was, my last deployment, I was kind of in a dark place. And I felt like the world didn't want me, right? That I should just be alone. I should just, I tries to ease myself back into society, but I really couldn't. I really didn't know how to act. Because I was up here and society was here. And well, yeah, more like up here. And society's kind of like right here. So me having to come down was really not a thing. And even today I still struggle with it. But I will say this is that hand to God, I'm in a better place. And so I know in previous videos I've said some things that I guess you know, uh, like only look out for number one or like whatever, and which you should. You should look out for yourself first, right? Because how can you be right for anyone else if you can't be right for yourself? And also too, that goes for like loving someone or people in general. How can you love anyone else or be in a relationship with anyone else if you don't love yourself, if you're not happy with who you are as a person, right? So that's still in play, but I kind of want to revise that statement and say that I am trying to care about others. I am trying to be more a better person for not just myself, but for other individuals in my community. And I live here in Johnson City, Tennessee, and I see myself more and more becoming an adopted son of Tennessee. It's so weird to say that. It really is, because for a long time, Florida was my home, and it it for a long time. But more and more, Florida is not really where I want to be or where I want to go. Um, Now, I'm not going to lie. If opportunity did come along the way, and if I were to get a really good job in Florida, I have to give it. I have to give it a thought. I have to give it a think. But that's not where I want to be right now. I want to be here in Johnson City, Tennessee. I think this is where I need to be, right? So I look at myself and see how can I be a better person for myself, my neighbors, my community, and people who I love and respect in this great state. So, and it makes me, it inspires myself to become, I guess, a champion of hope, right? It's it's one of those things where I'm not saying that I am. I'm not saying I'm not. It, what is a champion of hope? Well, I think if I were to kind of give it a definition, or if I were to dissect it, a champion of hope is someone who you can look to as somebody who inspires you. Not really a person who's a hero, but just more like there may be aspects of the person that you see and you can identify with, and try to inspire yourself to be a better person for your loved ones, yourself, community, your friends, family, total strangers. Um, I think a lot of it too is, I grew up, everything. Okay. So I grew up pretty hard, and I'm not gonna lie about that. I grew up pretty hard. And what I mean by hard is that basically, uh, yeah, the family life, my family dynamic was a pretty rough one. And I'm not going to get into it, but it was pretty rough. Just that's the way it was. And I tried to, I tried at all costs to kind of break away from that vicious cycle, I guess, of that dynamic at a young age, and try to set my own path. A lot of things didn't go the way that I wanted it to, I guess. I talked about this before, being a basketball player. That was one of my dreams, was to be a basketball player. I would love to play hockey. Would love to have been a hockey player as well. I was really into baseball. I sucked at the sport. Did wrestling for a bit in high school. Weightlifted in high school as well. But and then the military came, and it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. The family dynamic was still pretty rocky. So when I was my first year of college, college wasn't really for me at that time. So I enlisted. The war kicked off. You know, 9/11 happened, and so yeah. But so it's very hard to, when you start from a place that's not very structured in a sense, it's very hard to look and tell yourself, I'm not going to be like this. I'm going to raise myself up. I'm going to be better. At least for me, right? For for my for me as a individual, in my individuality, it was very hard for me to raise myself up and not stray away from that darkness that I knew as a kid, and as a teenager, and getting into adolescence, and then my young adulthood. So, but now that I'm older, I mean, there's still fight left in me, but I want to fight for what's right, and fight for what's good, and I guess fight with a sense of honor. I think I've always had honor, and I've always been somewhat of a sense of righteousness in my heart of hearts. But sometimes I felt like, I was fighting for the wrong things. Even in the military, sometimes I felt like I was fighting for the wrong things. But I was always willing to fight. That's the thing about me. It's like I was always willing to fight. And now I just I look at myself and I want to fight for the right things. I want to fight for the innocent. I want to fight for justice, against the injustice. I want to fight for what's right, and not just fight to fight. In the military, there's the right way, the wrong way, and the military way. Now, the right way and the military way can parallel each other. The wrong way and the military way can parallel each other too. But the military way is very indifferent to right and wrong. It's just the way it is. And sometimes, society, even when you're right, you're wrong. I've been in those situations, and it sucks. And you just have to take your licks and just keep on, pushing forward, pushing through the breach, right? And never give up. And I think that's what being a champion of hope is as well, is just never giving up, and never giving up that hope. Always knowing that, listen, being an optimistic person, even in the darkest of days, in the darkest of nights, is just trying to have a little shred of being that shining beacon of hope for others, right? And I truly, truly believe that. I truly believe that people can do that for others. That's like, I know I brought this up before, but I think it bears repeating that I work out at the gym, and it's basically like religiously. and I usually, and the reason why I work out, and I work out so much, is because, well, number one, it helps me. I have like physical problems with my body. I may be a buff dude, but it's just like I have arthritis in my upper back. My lumbar system's all messed up. My knees are shot the all. My right shoulder's messed up. My right hand's messed up. And so yeah, I do it to help to maintain what I got, because if I don't, I probably will be worse off, right? So it helps me to just uh, to not give up, to not let go, to give me purpose, right? And also, too, I've said this before. I mean, the gym is my temple, my church. It's where I go to seek wise counsel and to just get lost in my own thoughts and just figure stuff out and try not to stray away from the path of righteous, and always try to be a warrior of the light against the darkness. But even warriors of the light can get lost in darkness. I mean, it's just the way it is. And at times, I mean, I feel like I've done that a time or two, maybe even three. But what I'm saying is that, and maybe I'm just spinning my wheels, and if I am, I'm sorry. That as a person, I want to change. I want to change for the better. Like I said before, not just for myself, but for other people around me. And yeah, I mean, it's not as easy. It's easier said than done, right? What goals am I going to put in front of me to change? What am I going to do? Uh, do I need to do like 12 tests of strength, like Hercules? I don't think so. For penance, do I need to go to mass and be a part of the church again? No, I don't believe that. I don't know, but I do know this, that just by wanting to be a champion of hope and wanting to change myself for the better, that's like the first steps. I mean, I think that's kind of like what AA tells you too. I don't know. I've never been in Alcoholics Anonymous, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just the first step is just recognizing that you want to change for the better, and that's usually a good start. And well, okay. So what I was gonna get with the gym, yeah, I'm sorry, I got lost in my thoughts a little bit. Is that a gentleman came up to me, older gentleman. I think his name was Mr. Moon, by the way, Moon, and he was at the gym, older gent, and he was like, "Hey, man, I just wanted to tell," because I was walking out and he was walking out too. And he said something to me. I had my headphones in, so usually when I have my headphones in, I can't hear anything. It's like the little earbuds, and I can't hear anything because I usually blare my music and stuff, and I still had my music playing. And I was walking to my car, and he was I could see that he was motioning to me, and so I took my earbuds out and I was like, "Hey, how you doing, sir?" He's like, "Hey, man, I just do you he asked me, do you always go that hard, man, in the gym?" I'm like, "Yeah." Usually. I mean, there's sometimes when I've gone easy, but usually, yeah, it's pretty. Like it's not easy. I kind of have to fight through the pain, but once I do that, and then I go back home and ice the soreness. But he's like, man, it's like watching you work out like inspires me to work out harder as well. And it was great because I uh, I was just talking to him like, hey, hey, just give me a minute. And then so what I did was I gave him one of my business cards, and I have business cards uh, for usually for people who, I mean, I like to help people when it comes to physical fitness, and even if they want to get on a good regimental dieting plan or just something like that, right? And if a person truly wants to better themselves, I mean, I'm more than willing to help them. And that's just something that I like to do. Now, if they didn't want to donate to the Gregory Cobrana charity fund, you know, give me a couple fazools, for helping them, by all means. I mean, you know, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth, but I don't do it for those reasons. I do it because it makes me feel good, just to help others in that way. I mean, and that's the confusion too. That sometimes people will say, "Oh, I like to help others." It's like, yeah, but like in what way? I mean, I like to help others because I like to take something that I consider myself very talented at. I mean, I've been working out for over 2 decades, 20 years, over that. And it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. I love it. I'm not a tall man. I mean, I'm 5'6", but I'm a pretty stout dude. So, and some would say I'm kind of intimidating as well, and very intense when you first meet me. And I'm more like like I got these claws, but I'm more of a Teddy Ruxpin, right? More of like a Build-A-Bear, I guess. I'm not really a ferocious, Shere Khan. Rah! I can be, but yeah, I'm usually not that way. Only when I have to be. More of a protector than an aggressor, as I like to say. But yeah, I'm totally Build-A-Bear. Totally. So yeah, that made my year. That made my day when Mr. Moon said I inspired him, and I gave him my card, and I have to say, never heard back from him, not yet, and that's no lie. No, that's no joke. I haven't heard back from him, but I mean, maybe he moved, maybe he lost a card, maybe he just doesn't really need my help, other than thinking about, man, that guy in the gym with the tats, just going hard and just keep on going, just circuit after circuit, of training. And he doesn't he doesn't know my secret. My secret is, okay, if I stop, then my muscles will ache like tenfold. So I got to keep on going. So I'm trying to outrun the pain, right? Until I get home, and then I can uh, ease the soreness with icy hot and Bengay aromatherapy. But so yeah, that's the trick right there. But yeah, so I look at that, and I see that as being a champion of hope. Right? And whatever you're talented at, whatever, if you're a painter, for instance, if you like to paint pictures and you want to pass that knowledge on, because as we all know, we have a finite amount of time on this earth, on this planet, and as far as I know, we're not immortals, but maybe someday. I think that's like the lyric to a song or something. That's kind of cheesy. Oh, just for one day. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's Heroes. Okay, yeah, that's David Bowie. Man, I love Bowie. It's great. But yeah. But yeah, we have a finite amount of time on this earth, and I think it's a proper thing to pass the knowledge on. I'm not saying that if you don't. I'm not saying that if you're a talented person, you shouldn't get. I'm not saying that you should not get paid for your talents, because that's a way to make money. I mean, but in any situation, I mean, taking on a protege or taking on a person, being a mentor and taking on a mentoree, I think is a good thing. I think it's that in that of itself is being a champion of hope, right? You're inspiring another person. I mean, they look at since you're a painter, draws fabulous pictures, they get inspired by your work, and maybe a person wants to take lessons. You know, being a musician, for instance, for instance, uh, my co-host Chris Schwartzlander, Gentlemen with Cocktails. How could I ever forget about this? Chris takes lessons in guitar or banjo. I can't remember. It's one of those, maybe both. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize. But he takes lessons in guitar and banjo, and just him. I mean, I'm not gonna give away his age, but he's an older gent, and just him doing that now in his latter years. I mean, it inspires me to. I mean, when he was talking about that, I mean, I used to play a little guitar, and I used to be able to play the intro to Fade to Black and the intro to Wasted Years by Iron Maiden. Rock. But now, since I messed up my right hand, not so much. It's been a long time since I've tried to play the old axe, be an axe man. So, but I mean, just that even inspired me to kind of want to get back into playing. And then I realized, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I messed up my hand. I really messed up my right hand. Yeah, it ain't happening. But hey, maybe later on, I can maybe thread again. Who knows? If arthritis doesn't take me first. But yeah, some champion of hope. And it doesn't have to, and being a champion of hope doesn't have to be a person, doesn't have to be something grandiose. That's the other thing too. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to I don't know, protect the innocent, right? Or what is it? It's just, you just have to inspire people. It's the little things. That's what I'm getting at. Sorry, I was stammering a bit. It doesn't have to be something big. It can just be the little things that inspire others. And just that little droplet right there takes another droplet and another droplet. And maybe the droplets become bigger, maybe they become smaller. It doesn't matter. Every droplet, it inspires others. And that's what it's supposed to be. And to me, that's what a true champion, being a champion of hope is inspiring others. And you're not going to inspire everybody, because some people, they may see you as false, as faulty. You may get to a point where hubris takes over, and it's like, nothing can defeat me. I'm a champion of hope. How dare you? And then next thing you know, it's like something actually bad happens. But we're human. We're complex individuals. And even if you fall from grace, right? I think a true champion of hope is a person who gets knocked down. And I mean, knocked the fuck out. Pardon my French. And has the willingness to get back up. Be like, you know what? I'm better than this. I took my lickings, and I'm going to keep on ticking. Because that's what a true champion of hope does. And they don't use malicious or malice intent when they get back up. They're like, you know what? I learned from my mistakes. Maybe be a little bit more guarded, but I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful for people. And that's the thing too, is that I said this before on a previous My Thoughts video, that I have to be that champion of hope. I guess that's where the genesis of this comes from. Because I was thinking back on that video and it's like, well, what do I mean by being a champion of hope? And so I have to believe in people. I have to. At the end of the day, it sucks when you don't. Because if you let the world beat you, and it can beat you to a bloody pulp, and it will not let you die. It will just beat you within an inch of your life and leave you for naught. And then the world will revive you again and just keep on doing it like a dark comedy, like it's supposed to be hilarious. But at the end of the day, we're all people and we're all trying to make the best of situations, whether or not they're good or bad or indifferent. That's all that we're trying to do. We're trying to live with one another. We're trying to get along with a lot of different individuals. I mean, shit. I mean, that's really tough. I mean, I think there's like what, I can't remember how many billions of people or millions of people are in North America alone in the United States. But that's a lot. That's a lot of people, in America, U.S. of A. Everyone's trying to get along with each other, or trying to just go about their day-to-day business. Especially like if you work in retail, or if you work at a supermarket, or if you're a stocker, or if you're a cattle driver, work on a farm, you know, uh, work in promotions, professional student. I mean, whatever your profession is or forte, we're all different individuals, and I guess when I came back, and I will say this, and this is one of the things that I guess where I became a Donald Downer, I guess, because I came back from the war, and maybe everyone else changed, but I didn't. You know, um, and I mean like uh, Facebook, Twitter, hot or not, Slap, what? No, Snapchat. Sorry, I almost said Slapchat. Snapchat. Uh, all this new tech. Because like I got to tell you, when I was in the military, I still had a flip phone, right? Like them flip burner phones, like you see drug dealers have. Hell, if pages still worked, I probably would have that as well. I was very low tech. I mean, I didn't spend my money on the bling bling uh, when I had money in the military. So in a sense, when I came back from military service, I felt like a man out of time, for lack of a better term. And the world kept on going forward, and I was I was stunted in a way, I guess. And maybe, and I'm just putting this out there, maybe unconsciously, I don't know. So this is all speculation. This is just kind of me going through my head. Once again, this is my thoughts. Maybe me coming back, I had greater expectations for people and the way that they acted and the way I saw American society. Because you have to understand, I mean, I've been to third world countries. I've also been to other first world countries as well. I've been pretty much around the globe. Um, Visited many other cultures as well. And, it's all thanks to the military that I become a worldly human being. And instead of taking that knowledge and using that to a more positive use. Maybe I hoarded it like a fucking dragon's treasure, right? Like I was Smaug, Lord of the Rings, you know, ready to breathe fire on everything. And instead of taking that knowledge and just doing critical thinking and trying to better understand individuals and individual psyches, I just hoarded my potential away like a dragon's treasure. And maybe that was selfish of me. Maybe. And, but also, too, I do recognize that at that time, and I won't get into it, I was going through some, like, a rough patch of my life that, you know, I didn't want to endure anymore. And maybe I didn't want to endure life anymore at that time. I mean, it was a really rough patch. Even I'm talking about more of a rough patch than what I endured before the military with my own family. And maybe that's why I wanted to, I guess, maybe be the villain. I don't know. Because wrongness has, or at least in my mind's eye, I was wronged by persons, and I wanted to hoard my talents and not help others. And just be left alone. And maybe just be left to my own devices. I came back to my family, but even my family had hard times trying to help me. And even now, like I said before, like I see myself getting older. I don't want to push people away. I'm tired of pushing people away. I'm really good at pushing people away, by the way. It's a very, very good talent I have. Is pushing people away, pushing their buttons and saying the right thing to just scorch bridge, just incinerate it to where it can never be repaired, and no one wants to repair it. But that's not what I want anymore. That's not what I want to be. I don't want to be that person. And I think that's what a true champion of hope does, is that they, even when they look at their acts of wrong, they own up to him. They, like I've said before, and I think it bears repeating, that I've said this, I don't know how true it is, but I said that I had a prejudice against people who are obese. When I came back from the military, I seen a lot of people in America are obese, morbidly obese for that. And where me, as a person, not slender, but not obese as well, kind of like somewhere in the middle, buff dude, buff daddy. It was a culture shock for me because I never paid attention to my surroundings, right? I just looked at, oh well, they're, yeah, and I never gave a thought or maybe a damn about maybe the person has a thyroid problem, maybe they're depressed, maybe they maybe that's a way of doing self-harm for themselves, is to overeat. because they're not happy with themselves. And they don't, and it's hard for them to change. And maybe they just have a chemical imbalance to where they can't change, or or they don't want to change. Maybe they're on medication. Maybe they're trying to figure out what type of right medication is good for them so they can try to lose the weight in a healthy way, in a natural way, instead of having surgery and stuff like that. I mean, when you see, I would come back, I came back and I would see people in Walmart and they would have those little hover rounds, the rascals that they have at Walmart. And I mean, like both sides of them would be hanging off the seat. And I guess like when I be home, when I go places on leave and stuff, because I rarely went home when I was on leave, back to Florida. I never really paid attention to that stuff. I mean, I try to make the most of my time, because I mean, I figured I had a toe tag on me every time I went overseas, and I was a disposable hero. So I tried to make the most out of my time, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to see my family. I just didn't. And I remember a couple of times I did, and I was unhappy at that time of seeing them. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this again. I'm not going on leave, being fucking miserable, and have to go back and probably get deployed again. And then I'm gonna be fucking miserable, being deployed. It's like leave's supposed to be fun, not sour and daunting and just fucking dreading, full of dread. So I was like, yeah, never again. But so I wouldn't really pay attention to that stuff. And I was just more worried about me and my happiness. So yeah, so that's to me, I think being a champion of hope is just recognizing that. But also too, some people may just be like, hey, this is my life. I don't fucking care. You take your little fucking little white ass out of here, champion of hope. You go the fuck on there, boy. Or, they could also be like, what the fuck? You're trying to fucking tell me how to live my life? You're trying to spy a hope in fucking me? Who the fuck are you? Huh? Get the fuck out of here. Champion of hope. Kiss my fucking hairy white ass. You cocksucker. So yeah, it's like, yeah, they could say that. But it's cool. I can't be, but both persons. I can't be mad at. I can be frustrated. I can be disappointed. But it's like, okay, cool. Sweet. I have a newfound respect for, I guess, and this just came to my head. I have a little newfound respect for like Mormons and the Church of Latter-day Saints people. I don't believe in going around and spreading the good word. Like I said before, I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, but I'm more of the eternal than the institution, and that will forever be that way. That will never change. And I know people say never, but I can fully 100% look into the camera and tell you that will never change. I will always be more of a man of the eternal and faith rather than the institution. Because I've always, even when I was young, I've always seen faith and religion as a thing of that's private. I don't care if you're Buddhist, Catholic, Protestant, Seventh-day Evangelist, whatever, uh, Methodist, uh, believe in Hindi, uh, Muslim, Judeo-Christian, uh, believe in Judaism, whatever you are. So long you ain't hurting nobody and you try to be a good person, that's all that I care about. You know, when you try to get along with people, you don't try to do any physical harm or damage to them, or just try to be a person who wants to inspire people and be that champion of hope. No, for real. I don't care. Even if you don't have, even if the hand of God or any hand for that matter has touched you a certain way, I don't care. I don't care if you're homosexual. I don't care if you're transgender. I don't care what uh, religion or creed or sex, uh, gender, whatever. Whatever you identify with, great. So long you try to get along with people and you don't try to do them any physical or mental or spiritual, emotional harm. I mean, we all will at some point, but so long you don't mean it in like a malicious way or with malice, because everybody can't get along with everybody. But so long you have good in your heart, who fucking cares? Um, so, I mean, that's like when I was in war. I mean, I felt the hand of God on me, and maybe it was a Jewish God, right? Old Testament, earth, wind, and fire, flooding Sodom and Gomorrah and all that shit, Maybe it was a New Testament. Maybe it was old. I don't know. Maybe it was the Muslim guy, Allah, right? Still Abrahamic. Or maybe, it was the deist God, being what do you call it? Yeah, a deist. Where it's like, deists believe that, hey, it's like God put us here and they were like, okay, you figure it out. I'm just gonna, yep, you can go ahead. Maybe it was Crom. Who knows? Or the Egyptian gods, or the Norse gods. Who knows? Who knows? But so long you have good in your heart, that's the only thing I care about. I know I'm kind of spinning my wheels. I'm going on a rant. Excuse me again. But yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me what a person is. Uh, Color doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter whatever you identify with. So long you're a good person and you try to be a good person. That's the only thing I care about. I mean, I can get along with pretty much anybody. I mean, and that's what I try to identify and look at and look for in people and just in general. And I'm not saying that you can't be on guard. You can't. You just have to be trusting. No. That's a fool's errand. Yeah, you got to vet people. It's like you gotta vet them. Got to feel them out. See where they're coming from. But don't be afraid. And I guess at the end of the day, a part of me let fear rule a part of my life because I was hurt by others. And to the point where it just seemed like a practical fucking joke. And that it was just something I felt like I deserved at one time, which that was crazy thinking on my part. But what do when you just been just fucking browbeaten all the fucking time, and you're just like, you know what, this is my life. Opportunity comes and then it slips away, right? Or you get the opportunity and you fuck it up. I've done that too. And sometimes it's like the fucking up part is kind of totally out of your control. It's just, God's will, right? Or destiny, kismet. It's its will. So. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like being a champion of hope is actually looking at that, dissecting that, analyzing that basic human behavior, and willing to not give in and still strive to inspire people, inspire others, inspire yourself even. I mean, we are creatures who can always be taught something new. And I'm not a know-it-all. I don't believe I know everything. I love to learn. I'm like a human sponge. I love to soak up information. I know a lot of times retaining it, on the other hand, that's always, I see in my later years, it's harder for me to retain information. Knock on wood, I don't get early Alzheimer's because that would totally suck. And if you do have Alzheimer's, I feel sorry for you and feel bad. And but I do know that nicotine can helps with in cases of people with Alzheimer's. Helps nicotine itself, not cigarettes, but nicotine, the drug, helps with Alzheimer's patients. And I remember learning that in college, something that I kind of retained information. And I always saw myself writing better papers as well when I was a smoker. It's not a great thing to do. I don't recommend it. But yeah, so yeah, I could always be more of a wordsmith when it came to smoking the old ciggies. But yeah, I don't recommend it. It's very unhealthy, and it can damage you in more ways than one. So, and it leads to complications in other areas, and just it's not good. It makes you, when you're a smoker, you stink, you smell smoke, and it's just it's nasty. But yeah, I trying to think a little bit, see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Being like a champion of hope. I think I've said pretty much all that I wanted to say on the topic. And I'm pretty fortunate that I get. I'll say this, that ever since I've come back, and I've said this before a couple of times, maybe not on the podcast, but just in my own life, that everything here has been kind of bonus for me. Because like I said, I mean, I figured I was going to die in war. I mean, that's kind of like what I wanted. I mean, I wanted to die a hero, at least in my parents' eyes, because like I said, I mean, we just did not get along. And if I died in battle, defending this country, at least they could know that their boy died a hero. At least in their eyes. I don't believe I'm a hero. Been a lot of fucked up shit, and a lot of fucked up shit that heroes don't do. So, but yeah, I'm no hero. Better people, both men and women, serving now, served in the past, served with me. They're the fucking heroes, not me. So, but yeah, that's so I always see this as bonus. And like I said before, I mean, doing this channel has like 28 subscribers. And you know what? Those are 28 great subscribers. And even if we don't break 50, or even if we don't break 40, I mean, would I be a little disappointed? Yeah, of course. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say that. But you know what? It's cool. It's if I can inspire people, if I can be a champion of hope for somebody, even by doing this podcast and just kind of like having a good jaunt or joking around, but also trying to be very serious too about topics, then that's great. That's beautiful. Then just me helping people who can't have that voice, or it's hard for them to have that voice, then let me be your voice. And know that you're not alone. I'm there with you. I'm fighting the good fight as well. So it's totally cool. I got you. And that right there is being a true champion of hope. But yeah, so I think with that being said, I'm gonna close off for now. But once again, thank you so much, everybody, for watching the video. And if you have any comments, please put them in the comments below. Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends as well. All of you, you're beautiful. Don't ever let nobody tell you different. And yeah, and just know, handsome Cobra, Gregory Cobrana, is on his way to being that champion of hope. Hopefully. Well, with that being said, love to all, God bless, and as always, aloha.